Hey guys, Kalltorak here. Today, I want to talk about what I've been up to the last month, why I haven't been uploading as much, my plans for 0.3's league start, and we're going to be talking about some of the leaks and some of the cool news and stuff. Part of the reason why I haven't been uploading on my channel is because I started a new show. Myself, Miso and Dead Rabbit started a podcast called the Path to Exile podcast. It is live every week over at Miso channel, and it's a build-making podcast where we talk about everything build-making. Since we started that podcast, it's been kind of weird to try and find a way to make videos for this channel without overlapping with the podcast. I'm going to have to do a better balance of that later. If you're watching this video the day it came out, though, that means that the announcement for patch 0.3 is going live today. Myself, Miso and Dead Rabbit are going to be co-streaming our reactions to the announcement, and then the moment the Q&A ends and we have the patch notes, the three of us are diving straight into the podcast. So, if you haven't seen the podcast, it's just going to be a super fun patch notes podcast, and I hope you guys show up for it. What's even more exciting, though, is this Monday, August 25th, we are going to be having Darth Microtransaction on the podcast. I don't know if you guys have actually watched the end of my videos, but if you make it to the end of like 90% of my PoE2 videos, they end with this. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction, we ran out of time. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction, we ran out of time. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction, we once again ran out of time. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction. We once again ran out of time. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction. We once again ran out of time. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction. We once again ran out of time. When I was editing my very first video for Path of Exile 2, I ended up watching a video from Shroud, and during it he said that the only way you can get popular and big as a creator today is to start crap with people. You gotta call them out, you gotta get into drama, you can't be popular by being wholesome or just good at the game anymore. And while part of what he said you can debate, when he said that, I immediately thought of Darth Microtransaction as someone who didn't do that. But when Shroud said that, it reminded me of how Jimmy Kimmel, when he started his show, he initially started calling out Matt Damon. And it became a little long-running bit on his channel that he's done for years. And I just kind of like, as a whim, put that little joke in at the end of my first video, and it's just been running this entire time. I know Darth Microtransaction is not technically coming on my channel, it's over on Miso's channel, but I still thought it was kind of cool that this quickly I'm getting to sit down and chat with DM. So yeah, it's pretty cool. This Monday, come check out the podcast. He has announced that he is going to be playing every single Ascendancy in this next patch. He's going to be making build guides for them, which is why I'm super excited to have him on. You know, we're a build making podcast. We really want this podcast to help people just be a little bit more encouraged to trying builds, give people ideas and like routes that they can do it themselves. So having DM on is just huge for this. I can't wait to talk to him about build making. And the other reason why that I haven't been uploading lately is just because the last month we've been coming closer to finishing our next game, Card Quest. For those that don't know, I am an indie game developer. I've been doing this for about 3 to 4 years now. I own my own studio with one of my friends, and we've had a long journey with game development. And yeah, the last month we've just been cramming in to finish our next game, Card Quest. Soon I'll be releasing a video talking about my journey with game development. Recently, Chris Wilson, formerly of Grinding Gear Games, has started a YouTube channel where he started talking about game development to hopefully encourage people to get into game development. And I want to start using my channel to do the same thing. If you guys think I'm passionate about PoE2, well, I'm like 1,000 times more passionate about game development. Whenever you get me talking about game development on stream, I just cannot stop. So soon I'm going to have a video coming out just talking about how I got into game development, my journey from making games in game jams to starting our first Steam release that turned us into a 3-year early access hell, to spending 1 month making a horror game to scare our friends, and then eventually how we got to Card Quest, this 3D sim about opening cards and then selling them at your local convention center. So yeah, that's another reason why I haven't been uploading lately. We've just been focusing on the game while I had this break before 0.3. Okay, so now we're getting into the leak section. I'm not going through all of the leaks. I'm going to be saving a lot of that for future videos and stuff. Now, a few things to talk about. These leaks are pretty much hard confirmed. And apparently these are about 40% of the leaks, so there's way more coming. Again, I'm not going through all the leaks. I want to talk about 3 things specifically, though. First, it looks like we are getting a sprint mechanic. It is pretty interesting. This is the only thing from the leaks that I am like a little bit nervous about. It is an out-of-combat movement speed tool that lets you maneuver better, I guess, around the campaign. I don't see this having too much value in endgame. It does mention that you can get stunned when you're using it. You will get hit while you're sprinting. You will fall to the ground. This just sounds really gross on paper. I'll have to play with it and see clips of it to really give a full judgment. But yeah, so like, it doesn't sound clean to me. This is the only thing from the patch notes that I'm like, I don't know if like this is going to be well received. We'll have to see. Like, there's no footage of it. It just talks about how when you dodge roll now, when you've been out of combat, if you haven't taken a hit, jeez, or you haven't used a skill, you're just gonna have this sprint mechanic. And I don't think this is the right solution to the movement speed problem people are having, but this is just me talking without having seen it in action. It's hard to know without actually playing with it. But this was the only thing from the leaks that I was like, ugh, I don't know how I feel about this. Moving on to the support gems. This is the one that I find the most funny. We recently on the Path to Exile podcast talked about how we, in a sense, kind of enjoyed the restriction of only having one support gem per your loadout, entire loadout. How, like, there's just not enough support gems in the game to, like, really push you to being creative right now. And, you know, I was finding myself using support gems like Embitterer and like all the fun ones because of these limitations. My concern is that it's going to be just like all of these skills right here. Like, you have Lightning Arrow, Stormcaller Arrow, Lightning Rod. Like, they're all gonna like ultimately be using like Concentrated Effect and like all the super damage juicing ones that are just like obvious, right? And then like it's only the last two support gems that end up actually being flexible. I ultimately assume that I'm not going to have a problem with this system. It seems like there's no way it could be bad, right? Like, I don't imagine I'm going to be walking away from utilizing this system and being unhappy. I'm just curious if GGG was a little bit too quick to pull this trigger. Maybe a couple more patches. Maybe we needed more support gems, but maybe GGG knows that they're really not adding many more support gems. You know, in my head, if we added another 100, 200 more support gems, this would be it would be very easy to not have this limitation. But if there's like only 20 to 30 more they have planned with like scraps like here and there, then, you know, I can get it. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, there's no way it's going to be a net negative for the game. So it's all going to be fun. It's going to enable different types of build makings. But the cool thing about this is it really is going to shake up the meta a lot. They've also added progression of support gems. This is another thing that I'm really not too excited about. Sorry about that. I was trying to get this image a little bit bigger for y'all. So right now you just have like Chain Pierce, Scatter Shot, right? But now you're going to have like ranks of these. So like you have Brutality 1, Brutality 2, Brutality 3. So this is good in... It solves some of my problems. Like, so right now I've been talking about how I won't be league starting Thorns because Barbs and Quillburst are tier 3 support gems. You can't get them early game. You're just screwed, like, if you don't have them for league start, right? Which you're not going to have them for league start unless you wait until someone can trade you a tier 3 support gem. So if this means that like Barbs and Quillbursts and more of those like late game tier 3 support gems are going to have like tier 1 versions and then eventually tier 5 versions, that enables you to like use those builds sooner, right? Again, this is another thing that's like, it can't be a net negative, but when you look at something like this is where like you start getting system bloat. This was already like the gem sales system on the left was already pretty overwhelming. We had so many support gems in the game. Like you already like had this recommendation tab that like kind of recommended like bad supports, right? So for the new player experience, it was already kind of daunting with how many support gems you had. And now we have this like even fatter list where we have like Ricochet 1, Ricochet 2, Ricochet 3. it just bloats things out visually a lot, and I just, like, whenever I work in game development, so when I think about, like, designing the UIs and how we're displaying information on screen, I hate repeat information. I hate when you see the same thing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times when it can all be consolidated down. And yeah, I just think of, like, how many support gems we're going to have, and then how many ranks of them they're going to have long term. It just looks like it'll be clunky eventually. We'll have to see how it plays out. Like I said, there's no way it's a net negative for the game, so it's good. This is where I get most hyped, though. So we're not 100% sure if we're getting new skill or a new class yet, based off the leaks we got, but we saw some rebalancing for, like, dex classes, some caster classes got reworked, but the thing that I'm most excited, of course, is the warrior class. I play Thorns and Reflect builds. A couple things here. One, shield skills have gotten the movement speed penalty reduced when you're raising shields. Awesome. We do a lot of raising shields in Thorns and Reflects builds, so this is good. Shield charge, I mean, I've played many shield charge builds, but what I want to talk about here is Magma Barrier. It no longer requires precise timing. So they've removed the skill expression from Magma Barrier. Now, I will say that that window was really tight. I'm not too upset that this is removed. I am curious what it looks like now, though. But yeah, this just, like, Magma Barrier might have just gotten a big dub with all the shield changes we have coming. But yeah, the other big thing here is the armor changes. Armor gains the ability to better reduce elemental damage thanks to new stats available on equipment and the passive tree. As you can see here, this piece of gear has 17% of armor, applies to elemental damage taken from hits. I mean, this is just huge. I already thought armor was not the worst defensive measure in the game. I thought purely stacking evasion was worse than purely stacking armor, and there have been a few successful armor stacking builds that we've seen in this patch. So this just gets me super excited for Thorns builds. I would say that the odds of me league starting Thorns is pretty high right now. We'll have to see what other changes come, but this is all super exciting. Let me know of the leaks you've seen. Comments down below which ones you guys are more hyped for. But yeah, this is all super cool. Over the next couple days, expect me to do a bunch of, like, Thorns related videos of, like, what I think the best league start for Thorns are going to be. I'll talk about all the changes in the patch notes for Thorns. But other than that, I'm going to be chilling until the league start. But when league start happens, expect me to be streaming daily and just dumping out plenty of PoE 2 content. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I'll see you guys on the Path to Exile podcast, and take care, guys.